Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I really do believe in a passion and a pride that exists in somebody's heart when they create a video about Descendants of Zombies. And I think that's what you've really got to show up with on YouTube every single time you upload a video about Descendants of Zombies. Because Descendants of Zombies fans know everything there is to know about the product, and because they know everything there is to know about the product, they're going to let you know about it. So you've really got to show up and you've really got to be on point with your opinions about Descendants of Zombies. That's why I say Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour was the best concert performance that Disney had ever collaborated in the last at least 25 years. I say this because I've seen virtually every single one of them. If there ever was a guy that was a part of every aspect of the Disney Channel revolution, it was this guy. So I saw the rise in popularity of Hannah Montana. I saw the rise in popularity of Selena Gomez and Wizards of Waverly Place. The rise in popularity of Phineas and Ferb. And that animated classic that went on to become one of the most revered in Disney Channel history. And now 25 years later, we've got Descendants of Zombies in the top position of Disney Channel, the Disney Plus, being the most highly rated and most revered franchise in the history of Disney. If ever an argument was presented of what is the most revered franchise in Disney history, there are two of them. Descendants of Zombies, and that's as far as the conversation goes, or at least as I'm concerned, on YouTube. That's why I'm so proud to be the host of the Descendants of Zombies podcast, which I've tried so desperately to try to distribute as Saturday morning cartoons back in the 1990s, because I was a millennial and I grew up from 1990 to 1999, and I know how popular shows like the Power Rangers, Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, the animated Spider-Man series was on Fox Kids. So I try to present these videos like Saturday morning cartoons to give somebody excited about to have a greater appreciation for Descendants of Zombies. That's why I've never felt so honored to be your guys' voice of Descendants of Zombies. And what I mean by the voice of Descendants of Zombies, to help you make sense of everything Descendants of Zombies. So while critics will try to shut down your hopes and dreams of Zombies 5 or Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland from ever happening, or ever amounting to what you want it to amount to as a fan, because let's be honest, you have certain expectations for Descendants of Zombies. Sometimes it lets you down, other times it leaves you so blown away and mind blown by the franchise and how it was distributed, like Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires did this past summer. I never felt so honored to be a part of a production. I never felt so honored to review a franchise like Zombies, and I never felt so proud of the success story behind Victor Anova's characters, Malachi Burton and Freya Sky, and also their on-stage performances for the Worlds Collide Tour that were fabulously collaborated. Big shout out to everybody who was a part of that, and I think you've never felt so honored to be a part of something because you knew going into it was going to be something spectacular. That gives you even more reason to believe, or at least should, that leg 2 of the tour will happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. Suggested predictions suggest it will happen between now and the latter part of 2026. I, for one, am very intrigued by that because there's going to be a lot of emotion heading overseas. The crowd's energy is at an all-time high, and it's the perfect opportunity for people like Freya Sky to become more known than ever before and feel more appreciated than ever before. Not that they already didn't feel appreciated, but I think the overseas crowd have a very different energy from American and Canadian crowds, and that will be seen. But the 43 arena dates that we saw from the Worlds Collide Tour, I feel as if there was way too much criticism thrown in the way of critics by Descendants of Zombies fans. And I think Descendants of Zombies fans will forever and always be appreciative of Descendants of Zombies and more loyal to the product than any critic on YouTube who has ever uploaded a video with criticism directed towards the Worlds Collide Tour. And I mean everything they could find to criticize, from the merch to the way the songs were collaborated and performed, the dance numbers, the special effects, everything they could criticize or point out, they did. It overshadowed what was really good about the tour. And at least 95% of the tour, from where I choose to look at it, now I wasn't in any crowd reviewing it, but from what I saw on YouTube, at least 95% of the tour dates were fabulous. The energy was at an all-time high. You guys were so creative. Some of you had gifts made for your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars that you presented to them. I never felt so honored to review a franchise as I did for Descendants of Zombies. And I reviewed every franchise that I've ever been a part of for Disney for at least the last 25 years. I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been doing this ever since I was 13 years old. And all I ever wanted was for my voice to be heard and have an incredible reach. And I've never had more of an incredible reach or an honor bestowed upon me than to have been your voice of Descendants of Zombies. I've met thousands of Descendants of Zombies fans. I have expressed my thoughts and desires for the Descendants of Zombies franchises and the future, because there is a foreseeable future. No matter how much criticism people like Freya Sky and Kylie Control are faced with, there is a foreseeable future for Descendants of Zombies, and you can see it coming. We just don't know what's coming next. Like, we don't know what's inside of that vortex for Zombies 5. It could be mermaids, it could be pirates, it could be witches. A number of different supernatural forces have been suggested. We won't know until Zombies 5 happens. Many of you will be teenagers by the time Zombies 5 happens. But that's what's so cool about Zombies 5 not happening until 2028, 2029. It will give me a chance to meet more Zombies and Descendants fans than I ever have before. It will give me the honor to provide you with more commentaries, and very in-depth and very detailed commentaries than I ever have before, and commentate on a niche that I've never felt so honored to be a part of than I have for Descendants and Zombies. Because you guys are incredibly supportive. You took something that started as a whisper and turned it into a worldwide and global phenomenon. Thank you guys so much for giving me a chance to come back and be your voice of Descendants and Zombies, because I thought my career was over 7.5 years ago. I thought I'd said everything there was to have been said about TV shows, movies, video games, what have you, streaming. And I think that you can get that from the video collection there in the back that you see there, and all the Mickey Mouse merch. I've been very indebted and devoted to creating content. And I think I say this because there's a certain pride and a dedication that goes with creating videos about Descendants and Zombies. And you've really got to have your facts straight about Descendants and Zombies. Every venue sold out. The few venues that had few seats left were very limited, and it was very hard to get tickets to the Worlds Collide Tour. So I want to send a special shout out to everybody who never had the chance to attend the Worlds Collide Tour. Even with the thousands of people that showed up and the people who were shut out, there were a considerable number of people who were shut out of different concert dates. But you will get your chance, because we're going to see an overseas tour. We're going to see more tour dates than ever before, and this expansion is going to be incredible for parts of the UK, Germany, and Australia, because these crowds are very dedicated and very appreciative of being lost in the moment. And they're going to get the chance to be lost in the moment with Kylie Contrell, Freya Sky, like all the previous attendees of the Worlds Collide Tour did. And I think it was fabulously put together. I have to admit to each and every one of you, this was the most fabulously collaborated concert performance that Disney ever put off. And I'm talking about every performance they've ever done. From on-stage productions like High School Musical, Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, to Hannah Montana, Jonas Brothers, Best of Both Worlds from 2008. I say this because I remember how special the Hannah Montana Jonas Brothers concert was. The tours were incredible, the special effects were incredible, but nothing has ever been seen like this ever before. The big screen really brought it to life, the special effects, the music videos, the pyro was off the charts, and the explosion of emotion that came from the fans that was seen was unlike anything that I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot and I've experienced a lot, but I've never had a profound impact felt on my heart like the Descendants and Zombies fans showed me this summer. Because you guys were looking for somebody to provide you with a Descendants and Zombies podcast, and from where I choose to look at it, if Marvel can invest $5.2 million in a podcast every Wednesday off Marvel.com, so too can Disney for Descendants and Zombies fans. It's beyond me why they haven't, because of the popularity of the franchise, because it's so revered. I mean, everybody loves Descendants and Zombies, and some people are the best of friends now because of Descendants and Zombies, with how the conversation always starts with, are you a fan of Descendants and Zombies? Because Descendants and Zombies is a trend, it's a fad that nobody ever wants to say goodbye to, and because I know this because I've had an issue with saying goodbye to franchises many times over the years. I didn't even want to say goodbye to Sweet Life of Zack and Cody when the time came. I've always had this issue with never wanting to say goodbye to franchises or TV shows that I was a fan of. Like, if it were up to me, franchises like The Vampire Diaries and Twilight would have lasted for forever, and so too would Descendants and Zombies, because it would have been really fun seeing Descendants and Zombies going up against the popularity of Twilight. Now, without question, Twilight was overwhelmingly popular, and they wouldn't have had a chance. But I think when it came to Disney fans and fans of Descendants and Zombies, they would have gave it a run for their money, and they would have never quit on the franchise, even with how popular and revered Twilight and The Vampire Diaries were from their generation. And I remember being a part of it, so if there's one guy that knows, it's this guy. I think Descendants and Zombies fans would have really gave the other franchises a run for their money because of the passion that exists inside of your heart for Descendants and Zombies. You know, I've had the honor of meeting so many incredible fans of Descendants and Zombies, and it's undeniable. From your fan art, to your videos of you dancing, to the choreographing of the music videos, it's incredible. So many people upload videos of themselves rehearsing the Life is Sweeter When You're a Dance number. It's really cute. Some of you people upload your artwork for Descendants. It is mind-blowing to me how dedicated you are to these franchises and how much you believe in these franchises to the point where you would sacrifice your own life to be a part of Descendants and Zombies. And that's really incredible. Some of you even ask people like Dove Cameron and Kylie Contrell if you too could be a part of the Descendants franchise. You love it that much. And I'm here to tell you guys, I don't see anything wrong with that. What I see something wrong with is all the criticism that your favorite stars are faced with. Even Ruby Rose Turner being criticized for her desire to want to play Rapunzel in the live-action Tangled. I say this because I've seen so many disastrous performances of these live-action princesses, like Snow White, and how Renee Zellweger could never be given enough credit for her portrayal of the Snow White character. Obviously, it had something to do with her opinion being thrown into the conversation that had no business being thrown into a conversation, which I totally understand and I totally get. But I've seen so many disastrous performances of these live-action princesses that never really fell through with. The Cinderella live-action, with how mind-blowing it was, the actress who portrayed Cinderella was never really into the character. And this is why I say people like Ruby Rose Turner, who have such passion, should be given more of an opportunity to play the character. If she wants to bring Rapunzel to life in a way that nobody else could have ever brought her to life, then more power to her. I fully support her. And I would be center stage to see Ruby Rose Turner don the role of Rapunzel for the live-action Tangled. I said this earlier this morning on one of my first podcasts I uploaded. I think the conversation has become a revolving door of who could play Rapunzel in the live-action Tangled. And I think a lot of the conversation points to Sabrina Carpenter, because Sabrina Carpenter is the most lifelike Rapunzel of all time. I don't know if I believe that or not. I think that her family, because of her aunt being Nancy Cartwright and being so revered for being the voice of Chucky Finster and Bart Simpson, we all remember her from The Simpsons and over 30 years of entertaining and making people laugh. I understand that. And because your family is so revered, you think you deserve the same respect, Sabrina. I think that it's overshadowing people like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner. This is why I'm so thankful for Descendants of Zombies, because Descendants of Zombies gave them a chance. It gave them a chance to be performers. It gave them a chance to have their voices heard, because God gave them voices to be heard. And I think that, girl power has been put on display more than it ever has before because of Descendants of Zombies, because some of these girls are the strongest girls in the world. They're the strongest force in the world with their never say die attitudes, and how they really want to push Descendants of Zombies beyond the expectations of every critic out there, because people are looking for something to criticize, and they saw that chance with Descendants of Zombies. I've even heard critics on YouTube wishing that Descendants of Zombies would go away for forever. I hate to break it to them, it's never going to go away, and it's never going to die, because as long as people like me have a heartbeat, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep Descendants alive forever and always, eternally in all of our hearts, because that's what I want for the franchises. If I'm going to leave a legacy behind and I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out as the greatest of all time to ever do it, and be the one guy on YouTube that you can depend on for great commentaries about Descendants of Zombies. Because I can talk about Descendants of Zombies in 1,000 videos that I will eventually upload to this YouTube channel. I can talk about Descendants of Zombies in 1,000 videos and have no regrets doing it, because I know there are people who are very appreciative of my content. There are people out there who are going to hit my subscribe button, who believe in these franchises as much as what I do, and all the photoshopped images that I put behind my videos, because I think there's a certain pride and a passion that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies. And if you're going to talk about Descendants of Zombies, you not only have to talk about Descendants of Zombies, but you have to showcase that passion. Like how I Photoshop images for thumbnails for these videos. I shy away from the criticism. While people will try to offer you an explanation as to why, why Victor and Nova never kissed in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. It was pretty obvious why they didn't kiss. But why do you have to upload a video explaining why they didn't kiss? It was because of the age. And Disney just wanted to take it out of the script. They originally had put it in the script, but Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim left that responsibility up to them because of the history of Zed and Addison, which I thought was very appropriate. And that doesn't mean that we won't get to a point where Victor and Nova won't kiss in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. We just have to take a chance on it happening. It may happen years from now when they're older. But you look at their age and the age demographic that Descendants of Zombies appeals to and attracts. It was a perfect decision, just like it was to not have the vampires have fangs. I think a lot of people were expecting that to happen, but because of the age demographic again, Disney had to make a lot of executive decisions, which I approve of. It didn't take away anything from the movie. I just think a lot of people were upset that we never saw Victor and Nova kiss. Now, I think we could have seen it because it would have gave people of a young age demographic a greater appreciation for how love exists, and made more believers out of people that one can find true love, like how Victor and Nova had seen each other in a reoccurring dream. I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was a very powerful way to introduce us to characters that ultimately would go on to become so revered. I think there's a real lineage with Descendants of Zombies and a greater appreciation that's had by fans that sometimes is overshadowed by criticism, which is why I wish the critics would really go away, which I know is a long time away from ever happening, forever away from ever happening for me. But at least I can create great videos about Descendants of Zombies because I've never felt so honored to be in your guys' presence to provide you with critiqued analogies on Descendants of Zombies. Because here's the thing. Because I have that same appreciation for Descendants of Zombies as each and every one of you, and I know what it's like to be each and every one of you. That's the thing. So why am I going to show up on YouTube after having this outpouring of love and support shown by fans and review Descendants of Zombies, so critically? I think there's a better way to review Descendants of Zombies, and that's by, in case you haven't figured it out, giving people hope. Because if you can give people hope from the videos that you upload about something special happening for Descendants of Zombies, then there's no greater feeling in the world. There's no greater honor to have than to create great videos for people that mean something to their heart, that somehow finds a way to touch their heart. There's no greater honor in the world, and something you could never feel more appreciative of. That's why I'll come back tonight with one final video, because I know that appreciation for Descendants of Zombies videos does exist, and will forever and always exist in our hearts, because like it or not, these franchises really did bring us closer together. And it gave us a greater appreciation for the future of Disney, because Disney's really come into this sci-fi kind of realm, which I really appreciate, because years ago it was about music and dancing and having fun. It was never so much about love and finding true love and finding that one person that you could see yourself spending the rest of your life with. But now, through the power of Descendants of Zombies and how it's touched so many hearts, I think that's a more profound message than ever before, which shows dedication and a passion unlike we've ever seen before, which is something Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim's character Zed and Addison really exemplified for the Zombies franchise. I can never give them enough shout-outs and enough credit for what they did, because they really did bring the franchise to life, and they served as such inspirations for Victor and Nova's characters, who I see Zed and Addison through the eyes of, because of the passion, that same passion existing in their hearts. And this is what the critics look to find. They look to find something negative to critique. Everything from the misconception of daywalkers and nightwalkers. I mean, there's never been a more obvious plot for a Zombies franchise than the concept of daywalkers and nightwalkers. What's so hard to decipher? A daywalker is a vampire that exists in the daytime. A nightwalker is one who exists in the nighttime. And there's confliction over a bloodfruit and a moonstone, which I found to be really cool, because all these supernatural creatures found their way into Seabrook, found their way into a story, and eventually found acceptance, like how a girl found love even if it was with a zombie, which gives us even a greater chance of finding true love than probably ever before, because more people in this world are zombies never given credit for by how they don't pay attention to your text messages or what you're talking about. I see this happen every day. It's just Zombies has made it more obvious than ever before. Thank you, Disney, for making it obvious to us that more people are zombies than ever given credit for. You can never be too prepared, or one can never be too sure. So that's why you have this show, to prepare you for things like a zombie apocalypse or an impending alien invasion, which reportedly is less than 100 days away from happening, by the alien probe etching ever closer to Earth to kill us all. But I just want to say this, if in fact there is an alien probe on the way to Earth to kill us all, as I said 100 times over on this show, alien mothership, bring your worst, because there's no supportive niche I would rather die with than the fans of Descendants of Zombies. I'm good to go. I'm ready to die, because Descendants of Zombies fans have been ever supportive of this show. They've been forever and always supportive of me, and the way I choose to look at it is, and perceive it, there's no greater honor in the world than creating all these videos with the huge response that I've gotten, because I can remember a time when this YouTube channel had 5 subscribers, and now I have almost 3,000. I don't know when 3,000 subscribers will officially happen for this YouTube channel, when we can celebrate it, but I know it will eventually happen, because of the passion existing, that same passion existing for Descendants of Zombies in your heart, as it's forever and always existed in mine. I have one final show to go before this evening, and it's only 1:25, and I've already uploaded my 3rd podcast today. I upload anywhere from 3 to 4 podcasts a day, 25 minutes apart, because I really do believe that there is a value with Descendants of Zombies, and a lot of people just don't show that same appreciation. And I got that from the Worlds Collide tour, when people like Freya Sky showed up, and she was overcome with emotion. She was so caught up in the moment. She was so lost in it. I think she felt as if it was a moment that she never wanted to end. And I saw that, coming out with the Mickey Mouse merch on, making her think of myself and how big of a fan I was of Mickey. You can get that by all the Mickey Mouse merch you see in the back there. I was forever and always a fan of Mickey Mouse. I always believed that every character that Disney had created, believed in Mickey Mouse just as much, and he saw Mickey Mouse in every character he created. So that has a lot to do with that, along with my mom and my grandma buying me all this Mickey Mouse merch and that I still have to this day to remind me to be kinder to people, which really has had a profound impact on my heart. So I see a lot of myself in Freya Sky, her passion for board games, her passion for plain cheeseburgers at McDonald's at 3 a.m. I've seen a lot of myself in Freya Sky, and I think me and her would really get along. I just want to put that out there. I think that this cast of Descendants and Zombies is a cast that we will never ever see again. So if there ever was a cast to, come up in conversation for being some of the greatest of all time at the D23 Expo, it would have to be Descendants and Zombies. And if they don't do something to honor it, then I guess I'm going to have to do something about it. And how I'll do something about it is upload thousands of videos on Descendants and Zombies if I have to showcase my passion for Descendants and Zombies along with all of yours, to indicate to Disney that they have to do something about this, because One Worlds Collide Tour, here's the reality of it. If you're wondering if Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour is going to happen, well, it's going to have to happen, because I think that a lot of people were shut out of the Worlds Collide Tour who deserve to see it, who deserve to be a part of it, and with how revered it is, why can't Leg 2 happen for a company that's worth $158 billion in revenue? $158 billion in revenue. I wouldn't live long enough to do something with $158 billion of revenue. I'd be sick for the rest of my life. And if Disney's looking for a host of a podcast dedicated to Descendants and Zombies fans, then look no further than Jonathan Clarke. Put the call into Jonathan Clarke, and he will answer that call as the voice of Descendants and Zombies, as he's done for the past decade. Because there is no more supportive niches in the world that I would provide commentary for than that of Descendants and Zombies. Because as I've said many times, there is a real value behind talking about this product and showcasing it for what's true worth. And if you can show up and you can showcase it for its true worth, then there's no greater appreciation than that of being a fan of Descendants and Zombies. The greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life was discovering the passion that existed in my heart for Descendants and Zombies. That's why I put $5,000 behind this YouTube channel, and I've had no regrets since. Because I feel as if Descendants and Zombies fans have been let down with their content from other providers on YouTube, big-time YouTube creators and their big-time channels, if you would. Because I know there were critics in the crowd at the Worlds Collide Tour, which is why I will forever and always say that some of the best videos that were uploaded were by the fans of the Descendants and Zombies niches. Because if not for the fans of Descendants and Zombies, that greater appreciation would never have been shown for the franchises. So I just want to say thank you so much for showing up and really being on point with your videos about Descendants and Zombies and how much fun time you had with your friends. It was really cool seeing you guys pick out your outfits and doing your hair and being so excited and being so appreciative of the moment. And not only you guys got lost in the moment, but people like Kylie Cantrell, Freya Sky were forever affected by it. There are moments that they will forever and always cherish, like every moment that Disney has provided me with as a child. I mean, so many legendary characters have been seen as a revolving door, seemingly for Disney, coming and going all the time. The Toy Story characters, Monsters Incorporated, Pirates of the Caribbean, Tangled, which was one of my all-time favorite classics that Disney did. I know it's not a classic when you talk about classics from Disney, but it's definitely going to go down in history for being a revered classic, because I think that Rapunzel will forever and always be one of my favorite Disney princesses of all time. I've often wanted a girlfriend who reminded me of Rapunzel, although that never happened for me. But the thing is, I think that there are so many characters that have provided us with so many unbelievable moments, so why can't your Descendants and Zombie stars do the same thing? That's where my issue lies with this. I think there's a greater appreciation yet to be seen for Descendants and Zombies, and by the time it happens, it is going to be absolutely phenomenal to be a part of it. Because this is history that we are a part of, and I'm so excited for the foreseeable future of these franchises, because there's so much of a conversation of the supernatural forces that could see their introduction into the Zombies franchise. Because for somebody who believes that this franchise is far from over, I think we still have so much more of a story to be told and something to be excited about. That's what I'm really excited about, is the foreseeable future of these franchises and what sort of story we're going to be a part of. I'm really excited. I've never felt so intrigued. Thank you guys so much for showcasing your desire and your passion for being a part of something so special as Descendants and Zombies. You know, it's really hard to believe that it's been 10 years since Descendants and Zombies came into our lives and has had such a profound impact on them. Because now, more people are kinder to each other. More people are the best of friends because of Descendants and Zombies. I know for certain, whatever direction my life takes me in, I will never forget the profound impact that Descendants of Zombies and all of you have had on my life through meeting you, through our passion that has brought us closer together, Descendants of Zombies. Because a dream starts with a wish that your heart makes, to quote Cinderella. And because a dream is a wish that starts with a wish that your heart makes, I think that the possibilities are really endless for somebody. All you've got to do is achieve that dream, and I have full confidence in each and every single one of you that you will achieve that dream, and that dream can and will happen for you. Thank you guys so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with me. I will be back tonight, Saturday evening, with one final video for you guys, because it's such an honor to provide you with commentaries on Descendants of Zombies. Until then, we will talk in just a few hours from now. Be kind to each other, stay calm, and zombie on into the foreseeable future, because that's really the only way to be in this life.